He's going to continue to blame everyone else, and he will never take responsibility for anything. It's been like this from day one. This administration will take no responsibility for anything. And right now, because of mass shootings, lawful gun owners are going to be punished for all of Biden's failures.
Ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines.
And he went on to say that they passed gun reform back in 1994. It encompassed 9 categories of firearms, including AK-47s and AR-15s. And mass shootings went down, so he says, but we all know he does nothing but lie. But after, he said the Republicans let it expire. And when that happened, violent attacks with firearms, mass shootings tripled. I don't know where he got that fact from, but he claims they tripled.
Passed in 1994 with bipartisan support in Congress and the support of law enforcement. 9 categories of semi-automatic weapons were included in that ban, like AK-47s and AR-15s. And in the 10 years it was law, mass shootings went down. But after Republicans let the law expire in 2004, and those weapons were allowed to be sold again, mass shootings tripled. Those are the facts.
This president will take no responsibility for anything that's happening in this country. We all know there's a culture of violence, and I believe it's breeding from the Democratic Party, who does nothing to stop it. During COVID, they were letting violent felons out of prison because they didn't want them to get sick. They were passing bail reform to put more felons on the street. And where do you think these felons are? You think they're working in a supermarket or actually doing a job? No, they're on the streets with firearms that they're getting illegally. But again, they want to blame the responsible gun owner and take away our rights. There's liberal DAs, especially in California, who will not charge criminals with felonies. They downgrade them to misdemeanors. They let them back on the street to continue committing their crimes. And we all know that the Democratic-run cities in this country, like Chicago, for instance, have the highest rate of gun violence we've ever seen. Black-on-black crime in Chicago is at an all-time high. And of course, Lori Beetlejuice Lightfoot doesn't take any blame either. It's not her fault. It's everybody's fault but her own for not letting her police department do what they need to do. They're not trying to stop the gang violence. They're not trying to stop the shootings. Every single day in Chicago, there's multiple shootings, and mainly it's black-on-black crime. But of course, you'll never see BLM say anything because the police aren't involved. It's just gang members killing each other in these big cities like Chicago, like Philadelphia, like New York, and nothing's being done about it. They failed at everything they've said they were going to do. And then back in 2020, there were the COVID lockdowns, and that hurt young people, children. They were stuck inside. They couldn't be with their friends. They couldn't interact with anybody. And then they wonder now in 2022 why there's a mental health crisis in this country. It's because of their useless lockdowns. They listened to Fauci. We got to shut the whole country down. And old Sleepy Joe was all ready to do it. We're going to give them stimulus checks. We're going to save the country. So we sent pennies to people all across the country. For what? That didn't solve the mental health crisis. And now, in 2022, they're still doing nothing because people with mental illness are committing mass shootings. But of course, they're blaming the guns. And during COVID, when there was first the COVID-19, then it was the Omicron variant. But Joe Biden didn't know there was going to be an Omicron variant, even though Fauci said there's going to be new variants coming. You ask him, he doesn't know anything about it.
you didn't see Delta coming, you didn't see Omicron coming. How did you get it wrong?
How did we get it wrong? Nobody saw it coming.
And after that all happened, the vaccines came out and they were threatening you. If you don't get a shot, you may lose your job. And they convinced businesses and large corporations, mainly run by liberals, that if their employees didn't get a shot or 2 or 3, they would lose their job. So basically what they were saying was, we're like China. We're going to tell you what you have to do, and if you don't like it, you're going to be confined to your home, and there's nothing you can do about it. But he still didn't do anything, and here we are 2 years later, and now it's all about the guns again. Every failure of this administration all boils down to one thing. They want to take your rights away. They want to take your rights, and they want to be able to tell you what you can and can't do, where you can and can't go. And now that mass shootings are happening, again, he wants to blame lawful gun owners, and he wants us to be punished because he wants to ban assault weapons. He wants to ban pistols like 9mm, because remember he said a 9mm round will blow the lung right out of the body. So that's what he's after too. It's not just assault rifles that he likes to call them, because he thinks AR means assault rifle, which it doesn't. It means Armalite rifle that were made for soldiers to be not bulky and heavy to carry. But Joe Biden's such a fucking moron, he doesn't understand that. So everybody uses the AR. They bought an assault rifle 15. Shut the hell up. Go do your homework and then open your mouth. It continues to be the same trash over and over again, and we just gotta sit back and take it. They failed at every single thing they've ever tried to do. And that's not just the Dems. There's Republicans in Congress who do the same thing. But more so the Democrats in the Senate. Chuck Schumer is their almighty leader, and he's one of the biggest dinosaurs in the Congress. But he'll never step down, and he'll block legislation for gun control from a Republican senator because he didn't like it, because he didn't write it, and he didn't think it was okay, because he wants to call the American people a parent concerned about violence or a parent concerned about what's going on in their schools. He wants to be able to call them domestic terrorists and have the federal authorities investigate you as a domestic terrorist. So Chuck Schumer won't back any common sense gun reform. No, because what the Republicans are writing makes sense, but they don't like it. They don't like it because the almighty Democratic Party didn't come up with it. It's the same shit day in and day out. But Biden will, of course, continue to never take the blame for anything. If you listen to that buffoon talk, he's done so much since he has been president. And drunk Nancy Pelosi will say, oh, he's perfect. He's the perfect president. While she's in Rhode Island pretending she cares, getting some bullshit honorary degree at Brown University, her husband's getting DUIs in California. I'm just waiting to see, because you know they're going to sweep that under the rug. Gavin Newsom is not going to let the almighty Pelosi go down for a DUI. They're going to blame the police. They're going to say the breathalyzer was not calibrated properly. They're going to say something to let this millionaire fool get away with a DUI. The guy's like 80-something years old, driving around in a Porsche. He shouldn't be driving anything, but he wants to drive a powerful Porsche sports car drunk. And that's okay. That's okay, because they're going to let him get away with it because Nancy Pelosi is from California. And the money they give Newsom to keep that nitwit in office, it must be in the millions too. But it's all about guns. It's all about mental health. And of course, the nitwit said that we need to fix mental health in this country. We need more teachers, more counselors, more volunteers. There's plenty of them. But the money that this country spends to give to other countries to help them could be used in the United States to hire more teachers, to train more counselors. But no. We have to figure out how to do it on our own while these dimwits sit back and blame everybody else but themselves for the destruction of our country. And when it comes to inflation, he won't take the blame for that. It's Putin's gas hike. It's Putin's food shortage. Just like baby formula. He knew there was going to be a shortage, and he did nothing. But if you ask him, he'll tell you a lie.
I don't think anyone anticipated the impact of the shutdown of one facility in the Abbott facility. Once we learned of the extent of it and how broad it was, we kicked everything into gear. And I think we're on the way to be able to completely.
Bottom line is this administration and all their supporters, which there's not many, just all the dinosaur Congress people, they backed the bail reform. They backed emptying prisons because they didn't want the felons to get sick. They let them on the street. Liberal DAs didn't do anything. Biden takes no responsibility for anything. He'll still have press conferences and whisper. He'll always start to whisper. That's freaky enough as it is. But we have to pay the price as hardworking, law-abiding citizens. They want to take away our rights to own firearms. They want us to spend more money out of our pocket every day to pay for gas, to pay for food, if you can find it. And they want new parents to have to wonder, where am I going to get the formula to feed my newborn? Because this president let this shortage happen, and he's still, to this day, doing nothing about it. So it's all just an agenda to take away the rights of the American people. They want to tell you what to do and tell you when to do it. And if you don't agree with them, they're going to shut you down. They want to block us on social media. They don't want us to be able to have firearms to protect our family. But they know, as well as everybody knows, a criminal can get a gun on the street anytime, anywhere, in any state. Yes, raise the gun buying age to 21. So what? That's fine. But you're not going to stop the mentally ill person from doing something so horrific like a school shooting when their own families don't do anything. They're families that know they have mental health problems. They know they own these firearms, but they don't go in their room. I didn't know what he had in his room. What do you mean? It's your house. Check the fucking room. The kid sits in his room day in and day out, does nothing, plays video games, and walks around and just in a fucking daze. But you don't think he's up to no good? So the parents are to blame too, because they don't watch what their children are doing. They don't watch what they're doing on the internet. And they don't go in their rooms and check what they have hidden in the closet, under the bed, in a bureau drawer, a dresser drawer. They don't check. Can't go in his room. It's his room. No, it's your fucking room. You own the house. He's the kid. You go in there and look. Bottom line, this government is to blame. Parents are to blame because they're not watching their children. But of course, the ones who suffer the most are the hardworking people who go to work every day to try to keep a roof over their head, keep food on their table, and the hardworking Americans who want to legally own firearms because they can. But under this administration, we're the bad guys. They're doing nothing wrong. The criminals are running wild. That's okay. Let them go. Let them have their guns because they can get them. But prevent us from owning a firearm to protect our family. It's all bullshit. This administration's a joke. They know it, you know it, I know it. And that's the end of my rant. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate you. If you haven't liked this video already, please consider liking it. Please consider subscribing to my channel. If you do, hit the notification bell. Again, like my video, share my video, get my message out there. It's out there everywhere else. Please help me get my message out there. And again, hit the like button because the YouTube algorithm will pick up likes, and that will hopefully get my message out to more viewers. I hope everybody's healthy and safe. And like I've said in the past few episodes, keep your head on a swivel because these nitwits are everywhere, running around with guns that they shouldn't have because they have mental illness. So it's not the guns that are running up behind you. It's the fool with the gun who has nothing better to do and is going to start killing innocent people because they have nothing better to do. End of story. Have a great night. We'll see you soon.